On her wedding anniversary, she secretly went to meet her ex-boyfriend. Afterward, she pretended as if nothing had happened. She quietly returned home. When she opened the door, she realized her husband wasn't at home. While changing her shoes, her feet shivered from the cold floor. She then remembered that every time she came home before, her husband would always hand her the shoes. That moment, she realized her husband was truly not at home, but she didn't know. Things were not so simple. She immediately put on her shoes and walked toward the kitchen. Who would have known? Her husband was not at home and hadn't even warmed up the food. She became very angry, complaining that her husband hadn't come home to cook dinner so late. Soon, her parents arrived. They were surprised to see her still at home. Then she learned from her parents that her husband had been in a car accident. Only then did she realize that while she was with her ex-boyfriend, she had received an emergency call from her husband. That time, her mind was only on her ex-boyfriend, and she mistakenly thought her husband was joking with her. Angrily, she hung up the phone, but she didn't expect that her husband was lying in the emergency room, urgently needing her rare blood to survive. Fortunately, the doctors arranged blood from another hospital. This barely saved his life. Even the doctors criticized her for being heartless. Her father, even angrier, slapped her. She froze instantly. She couldn't accept that her father would hit her for an adopted son. Her mother beside her couldn't believe it either. Since childhood, she believed that her father adopted her husband just to match her blood type, but she didn't know that her husband was the long-lost biological son of the city's richest man. Only her father knew this. He could have lived a life as a wealthy heir, yet he chose to be with her. No matter what he did, it never pleased her. Finally, he decided to leave. He then called his mother, telling her he was planning to return home. Thinking of their years of marriage, he intended to care for her for 3 more days before leaving. But when he returned home, he found her celebrating her ex-boyfriend's birthday. In a fit of anger, he immediately went back to the room and took out the divorce papers. But she was too busy playing with her phone and didn't pay any attention to him. Even when asked to sign the divorce papers, she refused to put her fingerprint. She didn't want to lift a finger. Seeing her indifferent attitude, he reluctantly pressed her fingerprint himself. He was completely disappointed in her. The next day, he left with his packed luggage. It wasn't until her sister handed her the divorce papers that she came to her senses. She immediately called her husband. Do you think her husband would forgive her?